Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is getting the week out to a great start. Hope to this point you have gotten your year 2024 off to a great start. Remember what I always say, even if it's not where you want it to be right now, even if it seems that things aren't aligning and going the way that you want it to go, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Look, I'm going to get right to the point today. I apologize to everyone who actually tunes in on a regular basis in the mornings. I haven't been very consistent, and that's because we've been working and hammering on some projects that are immensely important to what we do and very, very promising to what we're trying to accomplish for Rick Wallace Enterprises and its subsidiaries in 2024. So I've been off the uh the chart, so to speak, for a while, but I'm coming back, and I'm coming back strong this week with a lot of information, with a lot of resources, with things that can help you literally transform and change your lives in multitudinous ways. So get excited about it, get ready for it, be prepared to go in and put in the work, because the work is required, the resilience is required, the commitment is required. Let me tell you, if you don't have staying power in this game, you're not going to make it. If you don't have staying power in business, in finance, in relationships, in everything that you look at and say has value, if you don't have staying power, you're going to struggle, and it's going to be a very tough and unfulfilling life, because it's the resilience, the willingness to go the distance, that's going to make the massive impact that you're looking for in your life over time. Look, today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about taking charge of your life. We're going to talk about this proclivity of the vast majority of people in this world to torch time, as I often say. What is torching time? Torching time is what we do when we become complacent and we procrastinate, when we sit around and we casually engage opportunities, or ignore opportunities, or refuse to take action. Um, as while I'm thinking, I want to point you real briefly to the description box. You've always heard me talking about the importance of multiple streams of income, and how I've built multiple streams of income online, and I'm giving you the blueprint in our online course, 7-day online business launch. Right now, for today only, it is $99. The course is regularly $607. It should be priced for more than that, because it generates revenue. This is what this is about. And I'm going to talk to you about my little journey online, and how it started, and how I've moved about, and what I've been able to accomplish, and how you can do that or more, depending on where you want to start and what you want to do. But look in the description box for today only. At tonight at midnight, it goes back to $607. But for today only, it's $99. And you get um, admission to the um, Mind Unleashed course, and you get a free 6-month success and growth plan, personalized success and growth plan, built around your personality, your state and move, and of how you operate, based on your DISC assessment and personality assessment, and your personal desires of what you want to accomplish. We are going to create for you a success and business plan. This is a $200 value, and the Mind Unleashed course is another $600 course, and you get those absolutely free if you sign up today, and today only. And again, I cannot stress enough the importance of having multiple streams of income. It is how you hedge against catastrophic loss in a rapidly transforming global economy, and a highly morphic workforce. What used to have value in the workforce today doesn't. How you move in the workforce 10 years ago will not get you anywhere today. And you have to be in a position to understand business, to understand how to reinvent yourself, to understand how to capitalize on opportunities, and being able to develop an online presence in a rapid fashion and seize opportunities is an important part of that. Alvin Toffler said at the turn of the century that being literate being literate in the 21st century will not constitute the ability to read or write. It will be the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn in real time. And we are there. We're at a point where for years, the model for marketing for any business was pretty much the same across the board. Obviously, you had to adjust for your target audience, but it was pretty much the same. It has completely flipped and it's evolving. For years, it was the same thing. You pretty much change a few things here and there, and you keep doing the same thing over and over, year in and year out. Now, what worked last year will not work this year. The customer experience drives how people respond to ads, promotions, marketing efforts, engagement, and you've got to be able to move on that. And for those who know how to present their business, present their ability to address a need or solve a problem, are going to be the people who get on in the world moving forward. So how did I get to where I am now? This is going to be a brief, this is not an autobiography, but this is a brief thing. I grew up as a person, a little black boy in the inner city, born to a 15-year-old mother and an absent father. Never knew my father, never met him. First time I saw him was at his funeral. Fortunately, I was reared by my mom's grandparents. My great-grandparents reared me. While it definitely laid a foundation of strong, old-fashioned principles, it created challenges just because of the age gap, but it was the foundation. Fortunately for me, my grandmother owned her own beauty salon, so I saw business ownership right out of the gate. Because they were my great-grandparents, by the time I got in this world, by the time I was 5, my grandfather had already retired, and he had started his own janitorial service and landscaping business. So I saw business ownership. I didn't understand what it was, and I didn't know any distinction between. I just saw him doing it, and so I knew that you can do that. And so early on, man, I remember my first business endeavor. And of course, at that age, you're not thinking of it as being a business. You're just thinking of it as making money. But you know, my first business endeavor. Now, we're not talking about registered companies and DBAs. We're talking about creating and solving and meeting a need or solving a problem, which is the basic foundation of any business. Is identify a problem that your skill set will allow you to solve, especially at a high level in a unique way that isn't easily copied. And you have established your principal business. And now you need to just work on strategies of operation and all of this other stuff. But so my first business was actually being a marble supplier. When we grew up, we played marbles, and in the hood, you play marbles for keeps. Playing for keeps means that every marble that you shoot out of the box is yours, and you play, and that's just back and forth, and you take whatever you win and put it in your jar, and you go home. At the end of the day, well, being that I came from probably one of the more financially mobile families in the hood, meaning that while we were in the hood, we didn't experience a lot of the financial strain that others did. I had access to marbles. So I would just get my grandmom to pick up some bags of marbles. Like, boy, what are you doing? When she figured out what I was doing, she made me to start pay for it. So for a while, I was getting 100% profit because I wasn't paying for the marbles at the store. But eventually she figured out what I was doing, and she did. But I would charge for 5 marbles at a time, 10 marbles at a time. I've got a bag of 300 marbles. And that was the first thing. And so I learned profit margin. I learned a bunch of stuff early in life. The next thing is there's all of these aging people in the community that need their lawns cut. So I took my grandfather's lawnmower. Remember, he had a landscaping service. So I took his lawnmower and I went around. I did the yards in the hood. And the crazy thing is my grandmother and my grandfather hustled business. So they called around. And this is during a time where everybody in the hood knows everybody. I mean, you got that phone number, you know them all around there. So they're calling and say, hey, look, let my boy do your yard. He's going to charge you this amount. I'm going to make sure he does it right. I'm going to make sure he's there at the same time every whatever day it was of the week. In the summer, it was all during the week. In the school days, it was on Saturday. They wouldn't allow me to work on Sunday. But I got out and did that. And then my grandmother, who also, outside of doing hair, was a seamstress. She had an old Singer sewing machine. She taught me how to use that. So this was back when they, in school, where we were tapering our jeans. Nobody wanted to wear boot cut or straight legs, so we were tapering our jeans. So I did that for the kids. Then eventually it was haircuts. And then I moved on out. And so my first legitimate business is actually 30 plus years later, still alive today. It started out as Stay Fit Fitness and Training back in the 1990s. And it is now Master Fitness 21. You can find it on Facebook, and you can look up the website on Google. And I started that. It was my first legitimate DBA, register, all that bull crap, bank account and all that stuff, business. And I've been going ever since. Over the course of the 30 years, there have been 47 companies. Man, I've done everything from international relocation, real estate property acquisitions, and leasing, and a bunch of other things in that area. I even in the 90s owned a prime meat distribution little thing that I had going on, where I could get you all the good stuff, same stuff you get at Omaha steaks and all that. Well, I had a little hookup with that, made that move, made that happen. Right now, currently today, I have Master Fitness 21. I have the Visionetics Institute. I have the Financial Brain Trust, the Legacy Wealth Academy, the Odyssey Project, Odyssey Media Group and Publishing. These are the things that are flowing now. But what happened is, in the early 2000s, things were going great. Real estate market's going great. Then the subprime lending crash and everything that went on. And I was heavily invested in a bunch of different ways, but took a major hit and I had to start over. But in the midst of starting over, a bulb went off in my head. It's like, hey, look, you've been doing a lot of stuff as far as what you do with clients on a local basis. This internet thing, man, you can sit up and you can reach out to people. And it was in its infancy stages. It wasn't as smooth as all these places like Zoom and Google Meets and all these other places. Then it was rough. I think back then it was called Google. What was it? Before it was Google Meets, it was something else, Google something. And it was rough, but it was there. So I decided that I was going to set up and start building businesses online. At the time, Facebook was in its infancy. Twitter was actually the big thing then. Instagram was an upstart and didn't do any of the things that it's capable of doing now. YouTube was Google's baby, and they were building it, but it was still, up and coming. But there was so much promise, and social media looks like it was taking off. But just having the internet and the ability to connect with people and to reach out to people and to promote your business online meant that people outside of your locale could see you, and you could have virtual sessions. So I got off into that idea and I started building. I did content creation. I did a lot of writing because I'm naturally a writer. I did a lot of writing. In the process, I launched my own publishing company because I wanted to control publishing, but I also wanted to offer up and coming writers a platform where they could get published, where they could not get a traditional publisher to publish them. And they didn't want to go through the self-publishing process. They wanted distribution and everything handled for them. And, that came a part of it, but it started, man. I worked on platforms. I wrote content. There are companies like First Choice Lighting in the UK, a furniture company in Sydney, where I literally did all of their product descriptions on their sites. And if you ever go to First Choice Lighting site and see all the crap on there, I'm the guy that actually wrote that. Now, they may have rewritten it since I wrote it, but I wrote all of that stuff. And it was just a grind. It was a hustle. That's not what I was online to do, but it was a way to make money. So I've seen these different ways. So I've earned money online through providing information in health and fitness, holistic fitness. That's what I do primarily now with Master Fitness 21. I've done business consulting. I've done content procurement. I've done ghostwriting. Obviously, my number one thing is performance psychology and life strategy, as well as trauma healing. Those are the things I do. But I mean, it opened up the door for me to lecture, opened up the door for public speaking. It's done all these different things, but it started as this one thing, man. I'm going to get online and I'm going to start with something I can do that isn't going to require a whole lot of startup capital. And so I launched out as a professional writer. Once I launched as a professional writer, I began to see other opportunities. Now, when I did this, you had to have some kind of form of awareness of HTML to get anything done. So, man, I'm telling you, I built some sites that was ugly, that had stuff halfway over here and that, because that coding has to be right. But I was intent on self-teaching myself how to set up code. Now they got all this stuff that I share with you and I show you in the 7-day online business launch course of how to use these tools, and you can build sites now. It shows you the top platforms you want to work with when you build a site for functionality and all of this. But I can build a site in a day if I really want to, a fully functional, full-blown site in a couple of days. I can build a landing page in an hour. So a landing page is this place where you can sit up and promote something. They click the link and they go to this page. They can either subscribe or they can buy. That is all you need to get started. First of all, now obviously the stronger your presence, the more prevalent you're going to be in searches. And organic traffic, meaning searches where people didn't click a link to get to your site or your page, but literally searched for a term or a keyword or a long tail keyword, meaning multiple words. They searched for it and you came up in the search. That's an organic. The more presence you build, the more things you're connected to, the more backlinks you have, all this different stuff that's a part of the SEO process is going to make it more likely that people will show up on your site solely from looking for something that you offer without having direct access to a link that you present. But social media has created this place where when you do it properly, you can create a business page. I do that for clients also. Create business pages. You can sit up and promote on your business page. You can connect your business page to your personal profile. You can do all this, especially on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is probably still the best at branding. Instagram is becoming a revenue beast. Twitter is starting to regain ground. YouTube is a monster. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and it's owned by the first largest search engine in the world, Google. And there's so much you can do over there. They're even got it now where they've made it to where you can do shorts and podcasts independent of what you're doing on your regular channel. So it is blowing up, and there's so much money to be given in that. Now, again, I'm gonna give you the basic principles of business real quick. There are 4 basic principles of business that I operate on and I use as a governing tool of whether I'm going to launch something or not. And now there are a couple of things that you look at. When I talk about launching, when I tell people the 7-day online business launch course, this isn't necessary for you to launch your dream business. This is for you to launch opportunities to earn money online. So you're going to be launching things that you can automate, that you can put out there, what I call a deployable asset. You know, a deployable asset is a page where you can sit up and put certain things and people will go to it and buy, and you don't have to go service what they buy. A book is a deployable asset. You write one book, you publish it and launch it, and as long as it remains in circulation, people will buy it. Now, obviously, if you want to really truly actively promote it, it requires some engagement. It requires a marketing budget and some other things. But bottom line is you can literally created once and it's out there. And you can do guides, you can do workbooks, you can do all kind of different things that are deployable assets. Also, you can do what's known as affiliate marketing, where you find someone else. And like I offer people affiliate opportunities with certain parts. My online courses, like the course I'm talking about now, the 7-day online course. Not only can you get it and learn and actually learn how to create your own business, you can literally promote it and get paid a percentage of what people pay to sign up for it. And just by promoting, and you can promote it anywhere. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. And I show you how to do affiliate promotions, because Amazon has a major uh, affiliate program. There are other smaller companies, but so many of these companies I have affiliate programs. There are CPA, cost per action programs, where you can literally get paid for somebody signing up for something, meaning they didn't actually buy anything, they signed up for it, or they completed a form, and then their pledges per step, where if they just put their name, you get this. If they put their name in their email and then they request something, you get paid a different amount, and it's called cost per action. I still do that. I still put their codes on my site. The one I use primarily is Max Bounty, but there's Commission Junction. It's now CJ, I think, CJ.com, but it used to be Commission Junction. There's Max Bounty. There is ClickBank. There are a bunch of others. Again, simple ways to get out there and make money. And so the goal is to develop the capacity. I started out from where it took me weeks to get my first setup put together where I could collect my first payment. And now I can sit up and look at something and say, man, I want to promote that. I want to sell it. Oh man, I got this idea. I want to do this particular program. I want to do this thing. Within a couple of hours, I can literally have it up, have it linked, have it set up to my processing company, have it set up to my bank so that I can accept payments, and literally accept my first payment within a couple of hours. Now it takes a while to develop an understanding and know how you want to move, what platforms you're going to use, how you're going to build it, where you're going to build your landing pages through. And I love WordPress sites, because the functionality on the backside of those sites are astronomically beneficial, because you can download all of these different widgets and all these different back apps that will allow you to do whatever you want to on that site. But I also use a bunch of other different programs. I use HubSpot for my data collection, for my client engagement, to create my landing pages. I even have one site built through them. So there's all of these different ways to do this, and you get to generate this income. But it starts with it. But I'm going to give you the 4 primary principles for business. Number 1, you need to find a problem that your current skill set will help you solve. Your current knowledge, your current level of expertise. What problem can you solve? Now, there's an extension of that. You can have problem solving, or you can meet need and demand. I'm not a need and demand. I'll go into need. I'm not really a want demand person. When I say want demand, means that there's this hot new thing out and everybody wants it, because that keeps changing. So you got to constantly stay on trends. And for some people that chase trends, to me, it's the equivalent of day trading versus buying and holding. I'm a buy and hold person. I'm looking at the long game. I'm looking at something that I can get in and be in for a while, that has some longevity, that can become a part of my long-term net worth built. Because if you do this thing right, a great deal of your net worth will be built into your businesses. But anyway, so what happens is you need to have, let's just say, solve a problem or meet a need. You find a problem, and then you look at and ask yourself, how could I solve it? Now, where you really win at is when you can solve it in a way that nobody has before, at a level nobody has before. And it's not necessarily doing the same thing the same way. Sometimes it's looking at it differently and say, I would do it that way instead of that way, and start doing it, and then promote how you do it and list the benefits of why it's better to do it the way you do it. And then you sit up and you now have the first step of a business. So in other words, I need to be able to solve a problem. Next, I need to do it at an extremely high level. I want to do it at a level where the quality is unquestionable and I can provide what is known as a customer experience, because your customer life cycle is going to be the key to your long-term business success. Everybody talks about customer acquisition. Yes, you need to acquire a customer base. You need a customer base. But if your business model is built on constantly acquiring new clients, you're going to burn out, you're going to saturate, and you're not going to be able to sustain that model for long. Customer loyalty is what you're looking for. So you want to create a life cycle to where your customers are not only sticking with you, even in long-term stretches. So in other words, if you're a real estate agent, your client, unless they are a real estate investor, aren't going to be buying a house from you every month or every year. But what they will do is they will refer people to you based on the experience they have with you. And they will also, if they get off into investing, if they decide to buy a beach property, or when it's time to finally get rid of the house, they are going to automatically come back to you. Now, it's a long-term reach, but your hits with them, depending on the points that you're getting as an agent, if you're like in Texas, if it's a independent sale, that's 3 points. So 3% of the sale is coming to the agent. So then you get what I'm saying. So you want the longevity. You want a person coming back over and over again. Your customer loyalty is your base. Plus, your customer loyalty is free advertising. So then how do you create customer loyalty? You create it through the quality in which you deliver what it is you do, but you also make sure that you're providing a customer. One thing that the internet did, the internet created more customer intelligence. Now, there's two ways the term customer intelligence is used. Customer intelligence is CI, customer intel, means everything that you can know about your customers, your target audience. That helps you promote and sell to them. When you know what their buying signals are, when you know why they buy it, when you know what they are looking for, when you know what time they shop. All these different things are a part of customer intel, but also customer intelligence are more applicable. Maybe it's customer awareness. Customers these days are more educated on the buying experience. So they're not just looking to get what they want. They want to know how you're going to get them to the end of the deal. How are you going to get them from the point they contact you to the point that they buy and actually receive what you're delivering to them? What does that experience look like? And they are literally buying not just the end result, but the experience. And you've got to be willing to deliver that experience. So you've got the ability to solve the problem, delivering a solid customer experience. Number three is that you are providing the proper customer backing, which is a part of the experience, but you're buying the back. You're covering the back end on support. You're following up. You're being attentive. You're doing what you need to do. And so that's a part of it. Number four is extremely important. You want to be as unique in your delivery as you possibly can. What do I mean by that? I mean, let your personality, let how you naturally think be a part of the dynamic of your business model. Why is that important? Because the more unique I am in what I do, the more difficult I am to mimic. Because this is what happens. People get on, they start something and they go off into what we refer to in business and marketing as blue waters or a blue ocean, meaning that there aren't any it's not saturated. There aren't any sharks in the water yet. Why? Because nobody's dived in and created a feeding frenzy. But what happens is when someone opens up a new niche market, meaning that it's doing something that is done generally, but doing it in a unique and different way, it's boutiquing your services in a certain way. When you open that up and people see that people are flocking to it, they will start to emulate what you are offering and join in. And ultimately what happens over time is these markets get saturated with businesses and the competition level goes up and it's a drive, it's a push. But when you create uniqueness and you're in a market that you're doing something so unique that it isn't easily copied, and that's why I love what I do, because there are a bunch of people in this industry, whether you want to call it performance psychology, whether you want to call it life strategy, whether you want to call it high performance coaching, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of people in this business, but there are literally none that do it the way I do it. I created my model of visionetics exactly for that. I have talked to some of the top performers. Matter of fact, I have paid for their services because they had something I wanted, but I've had them tell me, nobody does it like you do. Nobody's doing it like you do. And I'm able to do that because I've literally spent thousands of hours, literally honing my craft and developing my skill set in a way that is unique to my understanding. And I applied it that way. I didn't jump in the box. I didn't do it the way everybody else did it. I'm French, and I'm going to always be fringe because I don't think that anything is status quo or generalized in life. Everybody has this unique gift, but everybody is becoming a carbon copy of everybody else. I forgot who said this, but they said we're all born individuals, but that the most of us will die carbon copies. And that's because we'll study trying to replicate somebody else's vision. And I refuse to do that. So that's what you do. So you have those 4 steps. And when you do that, you have what it takes in business. But it starts with identifying what you're good at. And here's the beautiful thing. If you have been working a job for 40 hours a week for 5 years, you have become an expert. Maybe a little longer, but if you're putting in the hours, Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers basically drew it down to 10,000. Once you have invested 10,000 hours into honing your craft, into developing an understanding, into practicing and doing it over and over again, you have developed a high level expertise and you are among the elite in what you do. That's how, when you get to 10,000 hours, you got it. And now you're just building and you're refining and you're growing and you're expanding, but 10,000 hours is that mark. Well, if you got 10,000 hours invested, I don't care if you've been working at wherever you're working at, that's something you're an expert at. Now you have to ask yourself, what is it that I can do with what I've developed outside of working for this person or for this company? What can I do for myself? And what I normally tell people is the first place you go is consulting, because the new global market is now about people contracting their expertise, and which allows them to be employed by multiple people simultaneously, multiple companies simultaneously. And it's as a consultant or a project manager, or or something along that line, and you can bill for a certain amount of time to come in and give them advice on what they should be doing, or give them a blueprint of how they should do it, and then you're done and you move on to the next thing. And you can train people to do that, so you can have people in multiple places at multiple times, because the name of the game is scaling. You want to be able to create something that you can scale out. And so it all starts with taking a step. I tell people all the time, just sitting up looking and saying what you want doesn't produce it. Sitting up and wishing for it doesn't produce it. I say this all the time. Whining and complaining, wishing and hoping are neither strategies or plans. You have to be willing to sit up and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make this move now. And let me be very clear here, because it's easy to see, because I see it done so much, is to paint this picture or this illusion of everything's going to be great once you start your business. No, you're going to catch hell. You're going to go through setbacks. You're going to go through frustrations. And it's probably not the thing you need to be saying if you're trying to sell somebody on starting a business with your product. But I want you to understand something. The reward isn't in finding a way around all of the difficult moments, trying to run and hide and duck and move around. And it's in understanding that these things are going to happen. Life isn't about circumventing the vicissitudes and struggles and disappointments and setbacks. Life is about how you respond to them, because you can't miss them. There's no amount of money you can have that's going to make life challenge free. There is no place you can live on the planet that's going to make life challenge free. Now, some people are born in environments that are more conducive to doing certain things than others. That's the reality of it. Not everybody's starting at the same place. But what I can tell you is that if you make up in your mind to do something, and you can conceive it, it can become a vision. The vision is so important to what you're doing. If I can see it in my mind, that's God's evidence that it's possible. What do you mean, Doc? I mean that God, the great designer of the universe, who is universally considered to be benevolent, meaning good, would not sit up and create a capacity in your mind and in your brain for you to conceive something that you absolutely longed for and not be able to have. That would be torture. That would be sadistic. But what do you, so if you can conceive it in your mind, that's God's evidence alone that it's possible. And there's a good chance that that vision came from you being in the presence of a thought laid out by God for you to receive. That's called revelation. But what happens is we get caught up in trying to see what everybody else thinks we should be doing. We get caught up in what everybody else has done. We look at what the people in our family were able to accomplish. We set boundaries around ourselves based on limiting beliefs. And then we get stuck and held down by those same beliefs. But you got to get up. You got to move. You got to sit up and say, you know what? Today is going to be the day that I'm going to start. I don't have nothing, but I'm going to go down and I'm going to get a DBA. Today is going to be the day that I'm going to sit up and I'm going to take this course to learn how to create a website. I'm going to learn how to create a landing page. I'm going to learn how to start a business. Today I'm going to write the first paragraph of my business plan. Today I'm going to conduct the first element and component of my market research. I'm going to do something every day that will advance me towards this thing I say I want. This is the thing that you have to be willing to do. And you have to be willing to understand that there are going to be disappointments. There are going to be setbacks. There are going to be times, like I told you, I went from just like literally on cloud nine doing some unbelievable, mad, crazy stuff. My international relocation business is what that was is expatriating and repatriating high-level executives for all kind of companies. I worked with Nortel, EDS out of Dallas, Flora Daniels, Dresser Rand. Now, the cool thing about Dresser Rand is it's an all-rig building company. They do all that kind of stuff. That's where my great-grandfather retired from as a master welder in 1972. But I ended up doing that. I did it for some one-offers like the guy, I can't think of his name now to save my life for some reason, but he was for years the conductor for the Houston Symphony. He was from Paris, but he was living here all those years. And I repatriated him back to his home. I repatriated. But the biggest thing that probably influenced how I think about so much when it comes to business and finance was I was contracted to repatriate Enron executives when that company collapsed. I was the person that they brought in to bring those people back home. I had to make sure that their household goods overseas was packed up and they came home, was delivered, cleared customs, all the stuff that you do. So that means working with an origin agent. In this case, because they're originating the move from over there. So it's an origin agent over there. They're coming over, setting up the destination services here. In this instance, providing them with their severance package and explaining when payments were going to start, when will it be settled, all of these different things. And the one thing that I saw is how many people did not hedge their finances with multiple streams of income. They went heavy on Enron stock in their 401ks and were cleaned and wiped out after years and years and years with this company. And it just taught me the importance of hedging with multiple streams of income across diverse markets. It ain't just about having multiple streams. It's about multiple streams in diverse markets, because markets are going to be impacted in different levels of variances based on situations. Now, that can be a total market turn, and it happens. But a lot of times certain things drive certain markets: housing market, food market, transportation, all these different things that pay money will be impacted. And you got to be diversely invested in a way that if something's going wrong over here and something's going wrong over here, these things are stable. So that's holding you together until these things correct. And you want to do it in a way that it's mathematically next to impossible. Nothing is impossible in this thing. You know that, but it's next to impossible to have all of it going wrong at the same time. And remember this, though. Even if you have a situation where everything goes wrong simultaneously, the market always recovers. I mean, you're looking at a country that survived the Great Depression. Matter of fact, the Great Depression, up until the dot-com situation, had created the most millionaires in one particular period. So out of that struggle came creative minds that did things and took chances and made millions. And again, these are the things that are out there now. I love the expanse of the internet and what you can do with it. Um, it's only limited to your creativity. And now AI, and this is important, AI is making a move, and there's a prediction that 300 million jobs globally are going to be replaced by AI. Everybody's panicking. That's why you need to be a master of AI, understanding how it works so that you are on the front end. People are paying you to teach it. People are paying you to implement plans. People are paying you to orchestrate. People are paying you to do projects. These are all things, and we have a course on that as well. I started studying AI probably about 5 years ago. And it just blew my mind that this is where we were going to go. And you haven't seen anything yet. But there's a lot of things. Actually, Congress is really afraid of it because there are a lot of things, a lot of places you can go with this stuff, and it's crazy. So they're literally blocking the release of 5 and 6. I think they're up to 7 already with what you can do with this as far as versions. And so, and this is learned AI and all this stuff like this. It's mad crazy, but there's opportunity in that. So you have to learn how to stop seeing the threat as a threat and start seeing the threat as an opportunity, because wherever there are threats, there are opportunities. If something's changing, be ahead of the change. If something's changing, be directly involved in that change and you benefit from it. Be out in front of the trend or be on top of the trend. Most people are trailing the trend, and the trend is leaving them crumbs or running over them and replacing them. And this is where you get a chance to be ahead. You got what did I tell you at the beginning of this thing? What Alvin Toffler said, that literacy in the 21st century will not be the ability to read and write, but to learn, unlearn, and relearn in real time. And that's the beauty of this thing. You got to be thinking, you got to be evolving. But that's the beauty of the mind. God designed it to be done that way. We don't come close to using it at the capacity that it should be used, because we're what? Being carbon copies, and we're playing small, and we're just doing enough to get by. We're sitting up and doing what they're told us we're supposed to do. You go do this, you go do this, you go do this and get this, and then you do all this for 40 years, and then you retire and you get this little stuff right here, and you hope it's enough. No, I'm going to build what I want for myself and my family. I'm going to wake up every day, and I'm never going to retire. Why? Because I wake up every day doing what I love. Now, will I reach a point where I'm not doing it for the money? I'm doing it because I love it. Absolutely. That's the goal. But the moment that you shut down and your life stops having meaning, you start to decline in cognitive health. You start to decline in physical health, and you start to die at a more rapid pace. I think of two people when I think of that, then I'll be done. First person I think of is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's like 90 freaking years old, still waking up every day, going to Starbucks. And I know this because one of my friends was up there in Omaha a few weeks back and got the whole skimmy on how dude moves around there. And like literally, you would never even know he's who he is because he's just being himself. But he's 90 years old. Why is he still going? Why is he still sharp and all that? It's because he never retired. Um, my ex-wife, Marion, when I first connected with her and I moved back to Houston to be with her, she was working for a guy named Jackie Burke, who is a legend in the golf world. He won 2 Masters. He owns Champions Golf Country Club. Champions Country is where they play the Houston Open at when they have it here in Houston. And he just passed away at 100. He was literally 10 days away from 101. And he showed up to work every day. He showed up to work every day. I remember watching him. He would be sliding. He wouldn't be lifting the feet. He'd be sliding, but he would show up. And he was sharp, and he could think, and he can communicate right out to the very last. And that's because you were meant to be useful your entire time here. Corporate America was created for the wealthy. It's the people who are at the top of those corporations that benefit, and they're cycling you in and to keep a workforce going. And that's not how it's meant to be done. You're meant to be meaningful your entire life. And the way you control that is by creating something that you're passionate about and walking in it, living in it, loving to do it daily. So that's my share with you. I definitely went over what I was planning to do, but I wanted to really give that to you. So again, if you want to take advantage of the 7-day online business launch course, today is to do it. Today only, up until midnight, it will be $99. After tonight, it will go back to $607, and it will never be $99 again. We've got to get out of that, and I am being held accountable by my people on what I can reduce and how much I can reduce it. And so this is my last hurrah on this particular course. The course is, I mean, you halfway do the course, you get the $99 back. I mean, promote affiliate promotions. You get that back. But the thing is, you get to keep using what you learn in this forever. Now, obviously, as new technology develops and new sources come out, you'll have to refine how you move because it'll become easier. There'll be new ways to do it, new things you'll have to learn or pick up or exchange. But you will have the basic premises and principles, the blueprint, so to speak, to just consistently do this. And it's not just a blueprint for online business, it's a blueprint for business, but it's set up for you to do it online, the blueprint for business. So we're talking business plan, marketing analysis, marketing research, developing an understanding and awareness, gathering customer intel, all that stuff that goes along with that, creating a marketing strategy, creating your operational move, and from there on, basically I break it down into 10 steps. And you're getting all of that. So on that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for spending time with me. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. My challenge is that you do the same. And on that note, you guys have an unbelievable day. I'm out.